So in today's War Thunder video, we're going to be looking at the new roadmap, which is coming out for at least the spring to summer of 2024. So it kind of feels like, to be honest, like I'm just going to be straight out after reading this like roadmap. It kind of feels just like it's fixed post, but you know, throughout the whole entire year. So there's nothing really substantial to me, at least, that's going to be changed. There's some ideas that are being thrown upon whenever it comes to this, but honestly, it's just a bunch of quality of life things. There's not really much when it comes to the economy. I mean, they're not hitting at like what kind of nations will be coming or what kind of, you know, vehicles we'll be seeing. It's just stuff like, you know, there's going to be a fuel slider, which honestly is just a pretty good thing. I don't really think it's a huge thing whenever it comes to War Thunder, but still at the same time, it's pretty cool that they're putting out this sort of stuff. So in this first column, it is going to be the first update of 2024, and it's going to go through some gameplay mechanics, interface, and as well as some social features. For the first thing they're planning on adding is a aircraft fuel slider, which means that you'll be able to like manually control how much fuel that you bring into plane. I think it's been a thing that's been requested for a very long time. I don't really see a problem with it unless there's just some sort of like weird bugs where, you know, stuff starts to happen where it just doesn't, you know, notice that you have fuel in the tank and then, you know, it doesn't give you anything. You know, it's just one of those things I feel like could have been here in the past, but it most likely was just giving a bunch of bugs whenever it came to, you know, every single, you know, aircraft in the game having a different fuel slider. So definitely is a positive change, and hopefully we get to see it come in the first major update. So the second thing is solving the issue with duplicate stock air-to-air missiles in the weapon selector. I'm assuming this is the bug, or I don't really know if you call it a bug, but it's the R73 thing where there's like two types of R73s for some reason in the weapon selector. So you have to like switch over to the other set of R73s before you're able to shoot them off. I believe that's what they're talking about. But yeah, it's just a thing that's going to be fixed. I mean, there's nothing really huge about it. Improving the synchronization of object destructions on maps, I think, is overall a positive thing. I did read into the post where they said basically what's happening is that stuff is happening server side, but client side is staying completely different sometimes whenever it comes to like shooting fences and all that sort of stuff. So definitely, you know, improving the synchronization is always going to be a good thing for ground forces. So the next thing they're adding is minimap aircraft detection zones near aircraft respawn points and ground RB battles. Now, the thing about this is that they're doing it, I'm assuming, because of the helicopters, because as you know, you can take a helicopter, go to the enemy helicopter base, and just sit there and shoot any helicopter that comes, you know, out of spawn. Now, the thing about it is, I believe this is also going to be applying to aircraft as well, so you're not going to be able to just spawn kill them. Honestly, CAS right now is in a position to where I don't care if fighters are spawn killing CAS. I mean, I think it's a really good thing whenever it comes to this, because as of one, CAS is dominating, especially with top tier, mid tiers, and pretty much the whole game. So if you take a fighter and you're getting prepared to actually like boom and zoom somebody in a P-51, for example, and they respond as soon as they spawn in, to me, I don't have an issue with it. Now, at the same time, if it's just something that says, hey, there's someone, you know, about to spawn kill you, fair enough, that's fair to me. And, you know, it does have some sort of counterplay to it, which means that, you know, you should do a little bit better, especially spawning in something like a P-47. You can just kind of know to drop all your ordnance and start getting ready to fight somebody because you're ready to actually start to kill you. New tutorial missions for guided weapons. So I think that's honestly just a good thing. Basically, going to teach you how to use laser guided bombs and all that sort of stuff whenever it comes to, you know, the like weaponry of top tier. I think it's a really cool thing because, as you know, some people don't even know how to use the stuff, and they're selling top tier premiums which have this equipment on it, and nobody knows what to do. So yeah, this is a positive thing. Hopefully people can use it. I'm not really seeing many people use the, you know, stuff whenever it comes to, you know, showing you how to use air-to-air missiles and all that sort of stuff they just added within a couple of updates ago, but it definitely is a positive thing whenever it comes to War Thunder. So the next thing they're improving is that they're improving the replenishment mechanics and reducing the replenishment time for ground forces vehicles on capture points. Honestly, this is just a good change. You know, as you know, if you ever run out of ammo and you go to a capture point, you're sat there for like 2 or 3 minutes trying to get full ammo. Or if you get like your complete ammo rack detonated on like an Abrams, for example, and your blow up panels go off, if you go back to a capture point, you're just kind of sat there waiting to, you know, replenish your ammo. So honestly, positive change, and you know, it is going to be a little bit better to me at least. The only question I have is something like the ATGM vehicles. As we know, if you have an ATGM vehicle and you put it onto a capture point, it's really overpowered because you can just completely just shoot ATGMs over and over and over, and sometimes there's some instant like reloads of ATGMs, which just make them a little bit, you know, crazy to actually deal with. So definitely an improvement, but we'll have to see how it goes. So the next thing is that they're allowing you to actually just, you know, enable and disable your kill feed, and also kind of change the display names, the squadron names, and weapon types and all that sort of stuff. So just customizing the way that you want to see your kill feed, which honestly to me is just a really cool thing. So the next thing is social features, which means they're integrating Steam friends list into the game client. Honestly, just a good thing. You know, you're able to invite your Steam friends onto War Thunder, and you will not actually have to find them whenever it comes to actually adding them to your friends list. The next thing is wish listing functionality in game and an ability to gift friends through this wish list. All right, so There's a little bit of a problem with this, and hopefully they address it, is that you cannot buy anything for people that are not in the same like currency as you. So if you're using USD, for example, and you want to buy someone who is in like Russia that's using rubles, you cannot buy a gift for them, at least for right now. Hopefully they're able to change this, because as a CC trying to give away stuff whenever it comes to like premium account time and all that sort of stuff, it's very annoying whenever I'm not able to give it to people that are not in the United States. And then also the fact that you can't gift anything to console. So hopefully they're able to fix this. You know, it's going to be really sad if you want to buy your friend something and they just can't get it because, you know, they don't use the correct currency as you. So that's it for the first update of 2024. And now we're going on to the second major update of 2024. So first we're going to be looking at gameplay and mechanics, and they're going to give you the ability to use flares and chaff separately, which honestly is just a good thing. I'm surprised it's not came before then, but as you know, it's probably just something to do that's with bugs. Like pretty much if it's something very simple that I think should have been added like years ago at this point, there was just something incredibly wrong with it where it just couldn't come into the game until now. So next thing for game mechanics is that they're actually adding a separate battle rating for different game modes. So if you're playing within ARB, for example, let's just say that you're using the A7D or the A7K or whatever the A7s that you want to put in there. They're terrible within air, but they're pretty decent within ground because they're ordnance. So maybe this means that vehicles like that, which are kind of struggling whenever it comes to war thunder, can have a little bit of a life, especially whenever it comes to that they're struggling within one area of the game, but they're really overpowered in one. Well, I shouldn't say they're really overpowered, they're just really good in a different area of the game, which means that they have to share the highest battle rating that they currently can get. And it impacts stuff like the SU-27s. It impacts stuff like the, SU-7s, all that sort of stuff, whenever it comes to that sort of area of the game. So next thing is new Air Conquest modes and Air Arcade game mode. I'm not sure what that means. I just have to give some more context with it, but overall pretty good for arcade. So the next thing is a controversial change whenever it comes to War Thunder. So they're going to be allowing players to vote on it whenever it comes to its actual change. And to be honest with you, people voting on something, especially with the War Thunder community, can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes they do boneheaded decisions just because people don't understand what is actually happening. And honestly, Gaijin, this is a word from me. Do what is best for gameplay. Do not do what is best for historical accuracy. Do not do what is best for, individual people. Just do what works. And honestly, that is going to get you a lot farther than trying to actually, get everyone's opinion on it, because some people are just boneheaded. But the next two things that they're actually going to let you vote on is additional effects on crew when armor is penetrated. For example, fire in the firing compartment, a concussion of weapon operators when armor is penetrated. So basically what this means is whenever your armor is pinned, your gunner and as well as your commander will just become dazed, I guess. So they're just going to use their equipment slower. I'm not really sure how this works. It definitely will be something they have to show us, because it can be something that's kind of cool or very annoying. And honestly, very annoying stuff is the same thing that has happened right now whenever your crew is tomatoed and you're just having to, go around with a crew you can't heal, which is the next thing. They're going to be adding healing of wounded crew, but once again, it is going to be based on player voting. So if people vote for, the ability to concuss your gunner and as well as your commander, but then do not vote for healing of wounded crew, you see the boneheadedness in this. So hopefully the healing of crew comes, but then at the same time, if it's very annoying, the concussion of your commander and as well as gunner do not come, because it's just annoying. So definitely, Gaijin, don't listen to the community if they're just going to use a boneheaded decision, as is some things in the past. If you ever want to know this, and I'll show it on screen now, there was this vehicle called the Type 62, okay? So the Type 62 was a 5.7 vehicle when it came out within the Russian tech tree whenever it first came for the event. You know what happened to it? Gaijin decided to let people to vote if it should get its heat FS. And you know what happened once it got its heat FS? Once people said yes on it, it went from 5.7, which was a really good BR for it, to 6.7, to where no one played it, because why would you? Again, Gaijin, do what's best for gameplay. Don't just listen to one boneheaded decision. See what actually works and just do it. So the next thing is pretty cool, which is economy. Pretty much the only economy thing on here. But it's research bonuses for new nations, which was on the roadmap from last year, and it should be coming in the major update of, the second major update of 2024. Now, a lot of you are probably going to come to this part of this video and they're going to be like, dog, why have they not added this already? The big thing about this is I do not want to make the game so easy to where people don't want to pay. And, that is the number one thing that they're trying to not do, is make the game so easy to where you don't feel like you need to pay for anything. So definitely it's going to be a double-edged sword. I'm assuming they're just running numbers over and over and over, trying to figure out what is going to be the right thing to do. And honestly, it's definitely a double-edged sword, because if they don't do enough, people are going to be mad. And if they do too much, they're going to be mad because then they lose some of their profit. So definitely is something that they have to work on. Honestly, I'm very excited for it to come, but at the same time, I do know that it can have some issues. So the next thing is for interface, and when you're going to get the ability to place a vehicle into a crew slot from the research tree by dragging and dropping it with the mouse. I think that seems pretty cool. I'm not really sure how many people would use it, but honestly, just pretty cool. And the big thing about this one is that you're going to have the ability to change the order of your crew slots. So for example, let's just say that you started War Thunder back in 2013, where there was only planes, and let's just say that your best crew slot for your pilot is in like your third one, but for every other nations in your first one, you'll be able to switch your crew slot out, which just makes it a little bit, better to do whenever it comes to, the like game itself. Honestly, it's just a positive change. Visual selector for secondary weapons with mouse and quick access to wanted weapons. I'm not really sure what a wanted weapon is, but we'll definitely just see what this change is. But I'm assuming it's going to be like the GTA 5 weapon wheel, where you're able to just push in your middle mouse button and select whatever you want to aim 9B. You select that one. If you want your bombs, you want that one. Honestly, it seems pretty cool. Just wondering what wanted weapons means. Seems like a little bit of a translation error. So next, they're going to be adding an additional timer to aircraft heads-up display that counts down the time until the fired munition hits the target. ATGMs, AAMs, ASMs, and also guided bombs. Honestly, it's a really good change, but at the same time, once again, CAS is just such in a really good position right now, where they're just giving the ability to CAS to do even more things. And honestly, it is not the greatest thing of just making CAS overpowered to where, they're just going to be able to know when their bombs are going to drop. Because let me just put this, as someone who's used the A6E trap, one of the biggest things about the vehicle itself is you do not even know if your bomb is going to get there. And what I mean by that is sometimes, let's just say that you switch your target and you are trying to hit somebody else because someone died. Let's just say that you switch your target and you don't even know if your bomb's going to get there. But with a timer, now you're able to be like, oh, the timer's up. Now I can just come back around and go, bomb somebody else because maybe the bomb didn't hit. It does give those extra seconds to people on the ground to actually move away or, get an SPA or something like that. But reducing those seconds to, now it's just instant. I know my bomb didn't hit, to just turn around and go back to them is going to be, interesting thing. Now, I guess another thing that you can say is, well, you can give stopwatch and, time and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just making CAS better. And to me, at least, is not a great thing. So the next is social features is public squads and mechanics for searching for squad based on interest of other players in game. Not really sure what this means. Is it just interests within War Thunder? Because if it's interests of I don't know, for example, anime and all that sort of stuff, could be a little bit of an issue. But if it's just hey, I like playing, P-51s, or I like playing, props or something like that, I think it's all right. If it goes into the public interests of people who, like certain things, as that could get pretty bad pretty quickly. And also just going after other squadrons because they don't like certain things. Yeah, War Thunder definitely, this could be, something to hit you in the head. But yeah, if it's just for in-game stuff, I totally agree. It seems pretty cool. So that is it for the major updates whenever it comes to the first and second one. And now we're just going on to the summer of 2024. I'm assuming these changes most likely would just come at different times during the summer. And maybe they just come with some of the It's Fixed updates, which really all this is just a big It's Fixed, roadmap. So definitely we have to see when these come, but they seem pretty interesting at best. So the first thing is we're going to be going over the gameplay and also the game mechanics. And the thing about it is they're actually adding something new to aircraft whenever it comes at least to Air Arcade mode, which means that you'll be able to, go out of the map and save your plane. So a lot of people, whenever they play arcade, if they spawn in a plane, basically you should just die in it. It's because, if you already dropped your bombs, you just go for ground targets, try to gun somebody out and just crash into them and get back into your tank, which means that you will be able to do, a lot more. Now, what they're trying to do is that they're going to be doing exit zones where you're actually able to, fly up your aircraft to an exit zone. You exit it, you get some cool stuff whenever it comes to Silver Lions, whenever it comes to that. Honestly, people who are, packed on Silver Lions, which most arcade players are, won't really care and just still crash into the ground, try to get back into their tank very quickly. But for newer players, it should be a very good mechanic. So the next thing is that they're going to be doing detailed damage models for helicopters. Good. That's all I really got to say about it. Good. I'm sick and tired of shooting them with APFSDS. I'm sick and tired of shooting them with Heat FS, and they just keep coming in and they don't die. So hopefully they make something like Overpressure, or make stuff like wonderful Hull Break for helicopters to where they just die when they're hit. And I'll be happy. Thank you, Gaijin. Work on those helicopters now. The next thing that they're adding is something, to me at least, is kind of just weird. The ability to control proximity fuses. Like what? Why? Set the fuse for fragmentation, how explosive, enable and disabling radio fuses. Like why? Like okay. So I understand there's like very niche scenarios for this. Is that for example you want your stuff to actually hit the target, especially in stuff like naval, which I've not seen a single naval thing on here, by the way. But maybe it's just something that you want to disable it for naval, so then you can just run full belts of proxy rounds, and then you can turn your proxy rounds back on whenever you need to shoot at aircraft. Maybe that's what it's for, but honestly, I'm kind of confused of why they're like trying to develop this. Like, if someone can tell me a reason why you'd want to turn off your radio fuses, definitely tell me in the comments, because I'm actually kind of confused why this is even a thing that they're even proposing. I mean, it's cool, but why? So the next thing is they're going to be doing another thing, which is going to be reworking APHE shells, changing the fragmentation dispersion pattern, retraining the projectile head on its trajectory, after explosion occurs. This will be based on player voting. Oh god, wonderful. Okay, so whenever it comes to APHE, there's two people that are going to be talking about this. People who like the current system where it just nukes everything, and people that say it's overperforming. Now, once again, Gaijin, do what is best for gameplay. Like, I'm serious. Don't go off of a poll of people who are either, for one, just wanting to do meta stuff, or for two, wanting this to be nerfed. Like, it should be balanced on whatever just feels good for gameplay. And that's what you can really do with APHE. And as of right now, I mean, APHE is real strong. It's one of the, top rounds within the game. But at the same time, I mean, what do you really do? I mean, you just make other things better like they did with AP, of where they just make stuff spawn better. I mean, it'd be better if they just worked on something else than something that just worked. I mean, APHE is in a fine place, in my opinion, whenever it comes to the end of the day, whenever it comes to War Thunder. So the next thing is construction of replenishment zones and trenches on maps by vehicles with limited ammunition for the main gun. For example, some self-propelled guns, AT-GM carriers, and air defense systems will be based on player feedback and polling. What? So basically you want people to be an engineering vehicle? Question mark? I don't know. It seems okay, but the last time that they added something that's for like engineering vehicles, which was the bulldozer blade, they were just useless. I mean, if you're just going to have to sit somewhere and you're just going to have to, build up your little tent to give you some more AT-GMs, I mean, literally just make it a camping tent. You just can camp some places. I don't know. This just seems very weird of an idea. Whoever put this one in, hats off. This is just weird. I mean, maybe, once again, if it's just going to be useless if no one uses it, why even add it? Yeah, seems pretty interesting though. So the next thing is interface, and we're going to be getting a new reticle for modern tanks and improvement of tank systems in the gunner sight. As long as you let me revert back to the old system, Gaijin, I have no problem with this. There is some, problems with top tier reticles right now, just that they're so they're covering your screen almost whenever it comes to especially stuff like the T90s. It's very hard to actually see sometimes of where your round's going to hit just because of the reticles. They're so big because of your zoom and everything. But yeah, as long as you let me retain what we have now, I'll be fine. I don't care if you want to make it more realistic. But if you do the enlisted route of actually making historical sites and everything, no, I want my site right now. I'm used to it. I like it. I love it. I don't want to change it, and that's the only thing. Next thing is notification when a reported player was banned without specifying their username. I guess it's a good thing, if you've only reported one person and you see a little notification, you kind of know who was banned. But I mean, it's a weird thing, because if you report multiple people, then you just won't know. But if you only report one, then you definitely know who is it going to be. For chat ban stuff, here's my idea on it. If the person is never going to be able to play the game again, if it's a permanent ban, tell us the name, because most likely they were cheating. But if it's just you reported someone for saying the gamer words in chat and they get banned for it, I mean, yeah, then you can just hide the username and just say, thanks for reporting, here's your feel-good present, I guess. So the next thing is the ability to recycle inventory items that are not needed into random items of other types. This is really good. I mean, there's a lot of people that have wagers and as well as just orders that they never going to use. So honestly, being able to recycle it into boosters, to me at least, would be a very positive thing. Honestly, just a really good change that could be coming. So now we're on the last two things, which are social features. They're going to be doing a customized player card that you're actually able to customize and I guess put an avatar in and all that sort of stuff. I assume it's the same thing from Call of Duty with your player cards. You're able to put some cool stuff in it. I guess I believe that's how it would work. Maybe you can show off your favorite vehicles and your favorite avatars and stuff that you own. That'd be honestly pretty cool. And then they're also improving the destruction replay screen, showing the mini card of the player who destroyed you. So basically, you can show your War Thunder drip to the people that really matter, that are rank 1. So you can show them that you've been playing the game for a very long time, which is just a cool thing to me. Honestly, this thing is really cool. I mean, like, it's cool that they're showing what they're going to be adding throughout, you know, at least the summer. Like they said, they're probably going to be adding another roadmap whenever it comes to about the July period, you know, as of summer ending and all sorts of things. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of things in here that I'm like displeased with. There's definitely the stuff with the voting that can be a little bit issues whenever it comes to letting the players, you know, vote for stuff, because as we know, the players don't always know best, and even I don't know. And you know, it's what, for me at least, I just want to see a good game. And if a good game comes about people voting, fair enough. But if the game gets hindered by it, then definitely should just be something the developers choose. Whenever it comes to that, I'm assuming a lot of you are kind of just like, meh, this doesn't have any like economy updates. It doesn't show me that my wonderful, you know, F-22 Raptors coming this year. It's kind of just a bunch of boring stuff. And what I mean by boring is that like you care about it, but it could have just came in like an It's Fixed series of, you know, It's Fixed post, and no one would have really read it and, you know, understand all this sort of stuff. So yeah, hopefully all of you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys in the next War Thunder video.